Hi everyone, it's Serena here, and today I'm doing a video on preparing for your first day as a locum GP. This has been another very popular topic during my VTS talks, and it's amazing how you just feel so unprepared despite going through all your GP training or working as a partner or a salaried GP. When you go to work for your first day as a locum, it can be such a daunting experience. And I think the reason behind that is the great level of uncertainty. It's a new place, new computer systems, may have new logins, new referral pathways, and new patients, and so it can be a really daunting experience. So this is a short video just covering key things that you can do to help make that first day that much easier, and also help you prepare for your new life as a locum GP. Right, so I've created a locum survival guide on the My Locum Manager resources section, so do download that and have a read because it's going to go through everything in a lot more detail. Within that guide, I've mentioned about what ideally I recommend you should have in your locum bag in order to be prepared, so do take a look at that. So once you're prepared with your doctor's bag, I would advise when you're starting at a surgery that you arrive about 15 to 20 minutes early. This will give you the opportunity to find out where everything is, introduce yourself to key staff, and also get settled in your room and log on to the computer. So I'd say introducing yourself to key staff is really important. So make sure you know who the reception manager is, who the practice manager is, which other doctors are there on the day. I usually go and knock on the doors of the other doctors and introduce myself, and I always flag up that would it be okay for me to contact them if I have any questions, and I often take down their extension number in order to be able to do that, and I found that really useful. Also, when you arrive at practice, ask for a locum pack. So a locum pack is essentially a few sheets of paper which summarises things such as what the computer login is, where referrals go to, and other key information that every practice needs to pass on to their doctors. And if you've arrived early enough, you'll have time to go through that properly and be well equipped for your session ahead. So I've prepared a useful checklist, as you can see here, and I'm just going to talk you through what these are and why they're on there. So the first one here, you can see what is the extension number for reception. So when you're working as a locum, there's going to be a lot of unanswered questions that you have which may come up during the course of the clinic. The last thing you want to do is leave a patient within the room or be running around the practice trying to find out where this information is. So I usually get the extension number for a key person at reception, and then if I need any advice or any information, I call them whilst I'm in my room, and I find that's a very efficient way of managing any situation that may come up. So the second thing I've put on the checklist is where is the panic button. Now this is really important, I think, because obviously being a general practitioner means that you're used to dealing with uncertainty, but also that anything can come through your door. So knowing where the panic button is useful for if you need to contact anybody in an emergency or if you need help in an emergency. So typical scenarios are, for example, an aggressive patient or where you may feel threatened, or like a situation I had once, which was where I had a child that was peri-arrest, and I hit the panic button. I got help to come to me because I didn't feel comfortable leaving the child in case I needed to perform CPR, and I just felt like knowing where that button was really useful in being able to make sure that I was able to access help when I needed it in an emergency. So how do I call patients in? This is on here because practices vary greatly. So some practices you may need to go and call the patients from reception. Other practices you have a buzzer. Other practices you call reception and they call the patient in for you. So it's just useful to know what the protocol is so you can follow the same path. So how do I request blood tests and where are these done? This is on here because more and more practices now are offering on-site phlebotomy, whereas others you have to go to your local hospital. So it's really key that you know where you can send your patients in order for them to get their blood test done. How do I order x-rays and ultrasounds? This is really useful because some of your x-ray requests will be a walk-in service that's provided locally. For others, they will need to be arranged by appointment. So it's just useful to know how you go about requesting these. Do they need a form that they take into a walk-in service, or do you need to fax a referral? It's quite an important one that will get you through pretty much any surgery, any situation that you have. How do I refer for physiotherapy and counselling? So this varies greatly according to the area. Some areas may have self-referral for physiotherapy and counselling, others will need a referral form completed, so it's useful to know which one you're going to be expected to do. Where are the Med 3s, MAP B1s and maternity exemption forms? Well, even when I was training or when I've been working at practice regularly, it's very, very difficult sometimes to find these forms. So I always have this on my checklist, and I always make sure I have these forms ready and to hand when I go into my surgery. It saves so much time and it makes you so much more efficient for your day. The last thing I've put on is, how do I create referrals? Now, there's so much variety when you go to practices. So some practices I work at, I need to dictate referrals. Others, I type up my referrals. Others, you use Choose and Book and other such things to create the referrals. So it's really important to know going in what you're going to be expected to do. My tip would be, with regards to referrals, I don't tend to do them as I go. I just save them right up until the end. So I make sure my clinic runs to time and I deal with the problems presenting to at hand. I arrange the prescriptions, but the referrals I tend to do at the end because I like to take my time to go through the notes to make sure that medico-legally I've looked at the history, I've got a good picture of the patient before I'm doing a referral letter to secondary care or to a community service. Now, at the end of the day, after you've finished your surgery, you will then be required to generate an invoice. You can do this maybe once a month. I tend to do mine quite regularly as I go along. But once you've completed your work, then you need to pick a time that's suitable for you to generate an invoice. And if you're contributing to your pension, then you'll need to generate your pension form to go along with that invoice. There's a video that covers generating invoices and pension forms, or if you need further information, you can go to mylocummanager.com/resources and download the guide that's on there. Don't forget that at the end of the surgery, if you've had interesting cases or you've had situations where you may have been uncertain or it made you aware of a learning need that you had, write it down and document it for your appraisal. So it's really important that as a locum that you do this as you go along. It is key in helping you have a stress-free preparation for your appraisal, and it's really good for ongoing learning as well. So I hope that was useful. If you need any other information, you can message me, or by all means go on to mylocummanager.com and have a look at the resources there. They cover these things in much more detail. If you've liked this video and you'd like to see more, then please subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to bringing you the next video very soon. Thank you.